and it's the Marshals, Soult 1809. It's the French operation. These are the combat units that Soult sent east to react to the Anglo Allies coming north along this road. So I am going to be looking at activating this stack here. Let's see. Oh, wait. I need to, for this turn, I need to draw the event chit for the French. Right now they have the Elan event chit right there in hand. So draw one randomly. So they draw a Genie or engineering event chit as well. So I guess they can look to destroy a bridge at some point. I guess if it makes tactical sense. Okay, so that's the events phase for the French operations. Activate a stack through disengagement and or movement. So I'm going to activate this stack for movement. Just remind myself of what we have here. We have a infantry, artillery, artillery and horse artillery. Okay, so I think they do a command test. There is no strategic value to add because there is no subordinate commander with them. They do have a line of communication back to their commander-in-chief Soult, so that is +1. But they roll 5 anyways. That's really good. 6. So they have a full movement allowance. Again, a command. Let's see. Generally speaking, command control in this game is handled through a command test, which is what I just did. You're applying possibly one or more modifiers to that die roll. And again, if the modified total is 1 or 2, the stack is not moving at all, but still activated. If you get a modified 3 or 4, you get half of their movement allowance rounded up, and then 5 or more, they get full movement allowance. So command test in this game is really linked directly to either no movement allowance, half movement allowance, or full movement allowance is what it comes down to. So again, the numbers there, 9, 4, 4, and 5 are the movement allowances. So the slowest in the group is the 4 for the normal field artillery. This is a path connection, so that costs 2. So I think we just go ahead and do that. So we verified command. Okay, so they're going to move 1 connection, which means that they're going to draw randomly from the fatigue pool, and they draw a 1. It's a normal 1. Now they're not going to be able to put back any. You can use a commander and or a baggage train to put back a fatigue marker. We don't have that though. All right, so let me put this. So they've spent 2 for that connection there. So that 2 there. And then, now the question is, do I stay here in the clear? Do I stay here in the clear terrain? This is clear terrain behind the Douro River and behind that bridge? Or do I cross the Douro and the bridge to this zone, which is defensive terrain. If I do move forward, I'm going to cut the lateral movement of that stack off, because see, they don't have any lateral movement, so they would have to either come forward or pull back. So I think I'm going to do that actually. So I'm going to move on to there, which means I draw another fatigue chit randomly. Fatigue 1. Okay, that's okay. And that is a road connection. Yeah, the bridge doesn't do anything for movement costs. So that would be like that. 3. So the stack has expended 3 movement points. They've accumulated 2 fatigue, not an issue. I think I'm going to stay there. The other thing is to simply go into the attack. No, yeah, because now they would take an extra fatigue to enter that area with the enemy. But why? I think this is a better position. And this game is so much more about position and maneuver. I'm going to stay there. Go like that. I'm going to invert them. Now, rules review. Let me see. Nope. I remember. Okay, let's talk about important points. It's important to distinguish between a commander-in-chief and a subordinate commander. All right. So these guys behave a bit differently. Units and commanders are always in a zone, and notice that the zones are connected by these connections lines. Yeah. Event markers with a star must be played immediately, like that. This one on the top here, inactive, has a star above the E for, so E is for event marker. 1809 means that this one is maybe played or is in the pool for the 1809 scenario, which is what we're playing. But the white star there means that one must be played immediately, cannot be held in the hand. You have to pass if you've activated all your stacks, all your units, and you cannot conduct combat. Before moving, a stack must first pass a command test, except if it's under the command of the commander-in-chief. That's an exception. And I don't think there are many exceptions in this game, by the way. All right. Okay, during a move, a stack must follow a succession of zones linked by connections of route, road, or path. Oh, that's how they translate them here. Route, road, or path. I translated them as road, path, or trail. Either one. If a stack enters a zone occupied by an enemy stack, like this, right? If they had moved one more, it must stop. Okay, I was wondering about that. Unless it carries out a forced passage. So I need to remember the exception of a forced passage. In this case, a combat must be resolved during the operation between the stacks of the zone. Okay, I'll remember that. Try to remember that. At the movement in which a stack enters a zone occupied by an enemy stack, each player must determine an axis of retreat. To do so, place... Okay, we'll get to this, but this is a axis of retreat marker. Yep. Like that. Alright, we'll get to that. After crossing a connection, the player must draw, okay, a random fatigue marker. I was doing that. So here's a pool of 12 fatigue markers. For each connection that the stack moves, you're drawing one of those, with a few exceptions. Well, I guess you're always drawing one. You may draw additional ones, and in a couple of cases, you may be able to put one back, into the pool, meaning back into the pool. When the fatigue exceeds the morale of a unit, that unit must stop their movement. And in addition, an infantry unit takes a step loss. Losses in combat, which we'll be getting to, are taken freely according to the owning player, except that the first loss must be applied to the head or lead unit. A lone commander in a zone with an enemy stack must test his elimination as a loss of strength steps. If he survives, he is moved to a contiguous zone of the owner's choice. Okay, so that's commanders alone in an area. A garrison cannot leave the zone it occupies. If it must retreat following combat, it is eliminated. I don't think there are garrisons in this scenario, but we did see them before in the scenario. Demoralization. A stack containing at least one demoralized unit removes 2 from its CP, that's combat strength. I believe CP, combat strength. It moves normally, but only toward one of its lines of communication. Now, maybe that is what the standards are. Maybe those are the lines. Maybe those are the ends of the lines of communication for each side. You can test to rally from demoralization, but you can't be in the same zone as an enemy stack. I think that's all right. That's it for the regular rules. There are just rules in this game, but what I meant by that is we just went through all of the mandatories in the rules, but I'm not including the couple of pages devoted to the rules for the event markers. Okay, I think that is the French operation. I drew my event marker. There's nothing to do with the other forces right now. I think that's it.